And tonight, more on the trial of Paul and Ruben Flores. A forensic expert was once again on the stand during the Kristen Smart murder trial today. Dr. Elizabeth Johnson was questioned by Paul Flores' attorney, Robert Sanger. She talked about the test used to determine whether any blood was in the soil beneath Ruben Flores' Arroyo Grande deck. The prosecution's theory is that Kristen Smart's body was buried there and later moved. Earlier in the trial, another forensic specialist testified that the soil tested positive for blood. But Dr. Johnson told jurors those tests were likely false positives, as blood would break down in the soil after a short amount of time. She also said the tests used can be affected by pH levels, and the soil pH was never tested. On cross-examination, DA Chris Pavrell asked how long it's been since Johnson worked in a lab setting, and she said 2003 was the last time she worked full-time. He pointed out that was before the iPhone was invented, and Sanger quickly objected. Pavrell also pointed out that she's worked almost exclusively for defense attorneys for the past 20 years. Last on the witness stand today was Brent Moon, Jennifer Hudson's former boyfriend. He confirmed the two were in a dating relationship in the summer of 1996. Sanger asked if Hudson ever told him about that conversation she says that she had with Paul Flores at the skate ramp about Paul knowing where Smart's body is. He said he didn't know Paul Flores, and Hudson never told him about the conversation. During cross-examination, Pavrell asked him if there was a time Hudson stopped going to the skate ramp with him and if she was surprised, or if he was surprised by that. He said yes to both. When asked if that might indicate something happened there, Sanger objected, which was sustained by the judge. And new details released in the Kristen Smart murder case reveal one of Paul's attorneys may have been working on a plea deal. I read through the documents, which included a potential offer to reveal where Kristen's body is located. Monterey Superior Court Judge Jennifer O'Keefe has been releasing documents that were previously sealed in the case against Paul and Ruben Flores. One of the most recent documents is the probable cause arrest warrant for Ruben Flores. In the declaration, detectives outline the case against Paul and why they think Ruben helped cover up Paul's involvement. Much of the evidence has come out in court, but in order to make their case for the arrest of Ruben as an accessory, they had to include evidence against the main suspect, his son Paul, and some of what's in the document jurors have not been allowed to hear. The document reveals that in October of 2019, San Luis Obispo County District Attorney Dan Dow emailed Sheriff Ian Parkinson a series of electronic notes kept by former DA Gerald Shea. One of those notes was titled Smart 5710. An entry in that note quoted Paul's former attorney Mel De La Motte as stating, "I just want to say one thing, and I shouldn't even be saying this, but if you'll come to me with an offer of involuntary with only one condition, and that is that he'll take law enforcement to the body, then I can make that deal happen." The sworn declaration of probable cause prepared by Sheriff Investigator Clint Cole says that the Smart family attorney James Murphy recalls meetings with De La Motte about possible plea deals. The document goes on to say that based on the dialogue with De La Motte, Murphy has absolutely no doubt that Flores knows the circumstances of Smart's death and the location of her body. The document also reveals several other details so far not allowed in court, including multiple files found on electronic devices during a search of Paul's home in February of 2020, depicting what the warrant states as Paul Flores having sex with what appeared to be intoxicated women and pornographic images of children. The document says the LAPD has opened investigations involving potential rape victims that have come forward, some of whom are apparently depicted in the video files. The affidavit says in July of 2011, Paul was linked by DNA to one of those victims. Much of the rest of the evidence listed has come out in court testimony, including potential blood and staining in the soil under Ruben's deck and Jennifer Hudson's claim Paul told her where the body was buried. Now, I reached out to attorney James Murphy about his conversations with Mel De La Motte, but have not heard back. And for our full coverage of the case and what has led up to it so far, you can scan the QR code on your screen. That will take you to the Kristen Smart section of our website, which has everything you need to know about the case.